Right, Mike, we're good this time. After
All
we
right,
sort
sweet.
out all of those technical issues. See this, sometimes it's quite temperamental and it'll be like, you need to be in a headphone. No, we don't want you in a headphone, but
Right.
we got there in the end. And
Yeah.
also, thanks for allowing the time change there.
Oh no,
I
it
was
worked
all
out
set, I
perfectly.
was all
So
yeah, all set for 5 o'clock today, and I'm like, that's good. And then my son's football decided they were having a 2:30 kickoff away at South Queensferry, which is about an hour away from where I stay. So I'm like, I'm probably not going to get back in time, but we made it and we're here. So welcome to the podcast, Mike.
oh yeah, thanks for having me.
No, no, of course, of course. You're in Michigan, yeah?
Yep. Yep.
Good stuff. What's the weather like in Michigan at this time of year?
Absolutely getting blasted with snow.
Oh, yeah.
We've been in a polar vortex the last 2 weeks, so temperatures have been in like the negative tens. So like Celsius, that would be even lower. So everything's been just a big frozen snowy mess right now, and it's not a good time.
No, it sounds like you're exactly the same as us.
Yeah.
We're like kind of 1 and 2 degrees
Yeah.
over here. I tried to get out yesterday for the first kind of 18 holes of the year, and we're still on temporary greens. Some of them are still frozen.
Oh yeah. No, it's just
Yeah,
I'm hoping that the cold and the snow stops and we can kind of start warming up and stuff, and then the sooner the snow gets off the courses, the happier I'll be. But at least I have some simulators nearby that I'm able to utilize, so we'll kind of take what we can get at this point.
yeah. I was going to speak to you about the kind of sim golf stuff. So it is taking off over here, not to the same extent as it is over kind of stateside, which is crazy to me because we get really bad weather from like October, November, right through till March, and it's almost a complete shutdown. If the courses
Yeah.
are open, you're playing on temp greens. You've got to use a mat on some of the courses as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's not ideal. There is kind of simulator places popping up, and I've got an interview to do with a couple that's just opened one, and it looks brilliant. They've got like a putting lab in it and a
Oh
couple
yeah.
of things like that. So it's definitely something that's going to take off over here. But yeah, it's definitely bigger in the States at the moment than what we've got.
Yeah, no, it's been popping off a lot over here, just because there's always been like some onesie twosie places that have been open, but now like the big thing around stateside and also in Michigan is doing 24/7 access to them.
Mhm.
So like I actually have a membership at one. It's a place called the Back Nine, and it's like across like the United States. I'm not sure if they've went over to the UK and like Europe yet, but what's nice about there is you can either pay monthly or annually, and then you get 24/7 access to it. So if I am bored one night at 10 o'clock at night, and if there's open tee times, I can book it. I get a code sent to my phone that I hit it when I get by the door. It pops the locks, and I go in and I get to play for whatever amount of time. And some of the places have been kind of getting more advanced for like indoor practice, because the college I went to at Eastern Michigan actually just built like a multi-million-dollar golf facility that actually tomorrow I get to go check out.
Oh,
And
nice.
it has like massive synthetic greens, synthetic bunkers, and then it has uh, like simulator bays with the TrackMan technology in it. And a lot of the colleges are starting, especially in like the Midwest and the East Coast, are making these indoor facilities that obviously for their student athletes they can use it, but I would like to see more things like that get created for the public, because it'd be a way for the guys who like to golf a lot can go in, work on their short game and stuff. Because when I was growing up in high school, there was a place that actually moved into like an abandoned industrial facility, and that's what they made. They made like a huge indoor practice facility where it had massive putting greens, they had chipping areas, but what took them out was COVID. After COVID kind of ran through and no one could go indoors to do anything, they went out of business soon after. So it was kind of a bummer to see that, but it's just how
Yeah.
it goes sometimes.
Yeah, I've got a friend. He was based in Denver originally, but he's now moved to New Mexico, and he's trying to set up a kind of sim business.
Yeah.
The golf armory. So shout out to my pal Eric and the golf armory. So they're now doing like sim builds as well for other companies. He was doing stuff for Pins and Aces. You know, Pins and Aces.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They built a simulator. So he did some of the work on their simulator for
Okay.
them.
Yeah. That's sweet.
His plan was to buy and build out exactly what you said, kind of just big warehouse spaces and turn them
Yeah.
into Like we have got golf simulators over here. There's a couple of golf clubs that are around about me that have got them for their members to use, right? But
Right,
they're
right, right, right.
member only ones. And then we've got another couple that are, I think they're kind of just used for maybe stag and hen do's, back
Yeah,
parties and stuff like that as well. So it's
yeah, where you
nothing
kind of
kind
just go
of,
there and mess
yeah,
around
nothing
at
too
and
serious.
stuff.
A bit like Top Golf, but obviously inside.
Yeah, because like what I've been seeing too is they've been making like kind of like specialty, like niche kind of stuff too, where like actually a person that I actually graduated high school with, they opened a simulator place, but it's not only a simulator, it's actually like a whiskey bar too. So like they
Oh,
have
nice.
like good food, a good menu and stuff like that. And then even like I've seen some on like the west side of the state that are like cigar bars and golf simulators. So like I mean there's a market for it because even like on days when it's like, might be some bad weather and stuff that you go get swings in, but also I mean if you use it as a restaurant too, like I mean you could make your money out that you might not be selling tee times for golf, but I mean if your food's good and you have a good menu and good atmosphere, I mean people will come through.
Yeah. I mean, we have like the 24-hour gyms here, so similar to what you're saying, people can go at 2, 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
If they maybe knock off working shifts and they knock off work, they can go down and they can go and get a workout. But I'm not an athlete, but I would definitely sign up for a
Oh,
golf membership. That if it gave me a
yeah.
sim for 24-hour access, that would
Oh
definitely be
yeah,
something.
no, it's super convenient, especially for me where it's located. Like it's like right by my house, so it's like I get off work or I'm like, all right, I got an hour to kill. I'll go do that. And even like I'm saying, like sometimes like like my wife and I will watch like a movie or a show or something, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm not really tired yet. Well, I'm gonna go hit some golf balls. So
Yeah,
it's super nice, and especially like where I live currently, like my thing that I always want to have in my house is like I want to be able to put a simulator in, but I mean, for the space we have, it can't be done right now. So being able to utilize a place like that is just comes in clutch for me, especially during the
yeah.
winter time.
Yeah, definitely. I've swindled with the idea of trying to get my wife telling me to put a simulator in my garage, but I think I'm banging my head off the proverbial brick wall when
Yeah,
it comes to that one. And to be honest, I don't think I have the space. Like I do have a garage and you can get a car in it, but for the
yeah,
measurement, I'd have to end up taking up some of the height off
yeah,
the roof, and it then becomes even more of an expensive project.
yeah. Nope, I know exactly how that is because when we got our house, the first thing I did is I went into the basement and I'm like, I took like kind of like what a swing would be like, and I'm like, it is too tiny down here. And then we actually live somewhere where we don't actually have a garage yet, so my wife did give me the green light for when we eventually build a garage is I'll be able to make it tall enough so I could at least put like a little launch monitor in there and be able to hit balls and stuff. So that'll be nice.
No, that's good. You have to have these plans, and you need to lay the
Oh
groundwork
yeah,
now for the future, so that when you drop it on, it's
exactly.
not as much of a surprise. So, um,
Exactly.
good stuff. So, I'd like to kind of get a bit of your kind of golf story. So,
Yeah.
how did young Mike get into golf?
Yeah. So it's kind of weird because like I grew up where I played football, I played soccer my whole entire life where that was like my main sport. My whole family played like ice hockey and it was just one of those things where like I always kind of like played ice hockey but never really like played it on like a team. But then I picked up golf. Like I would always be like in the Florida area during the Masters and stuff. So like, it would always be on TV and I'd watch it. And like my uncle would play it a little bit, and like my brother would play it a little bit. But like my dad, like, I mean, he never he hated it. He's like, why would I want to play a sport that just makes me frustrated and mad? So like I always like would kind of just like where we had a place down in Florida, there was actually a par 3 course down there that was under the lights. So like, when it would cool off in the evening, my dad would be like, hey, like, I'll take you up here and you can just go play and stuff and I'll just ride in the cart. So I started to do that when I was younger and then like, kind of always kind of would just play it here and there like during the spring and summer while I was in school. But then going into my freshman year of high school, I played baseball and I was like, all right, like my swing in baseball started to get mad and I wasn't hitting that great. So I'm like, I'm like, baseball and golf are in the same season. So I'm like, I need to decide what sport I want to play. And I'm like, all right, like we'll try the competitive golf thing. Cause like one thing, like because nobody in my family really golfed, I didn't know about all like the junior PGA stuff or like all the youth tournaments that they have for like the kids. So my only competitive golf was in high school. So I said, hey, screw it. I'll try out for the high school team. And I mean, I made varsity as a freshman and played varsity all 4 years. And then again, I didn't really know about how to get recruited for college. I didn't know what goes into it. So like I was like my junior year, I'm like, oh, I'd kind of like to do this in college. And then, emailed a few coaches, tried to get like at least an opportunity to go play and kind of like show them like, hey, like I'm not going to be a starter right away, but like I have potential. Fortunately, that didn't really go my way because a lot of the schools were like, oh, we already have our team selected. We already have this. And I'm like, I'm just trying to be like a reserve to a reserve to a reserve. I'm like, I'm not trying to take anyone's spot. I just want to be able to like maybe play some free golf. So I had offers to go to a couple like private institutions in the United States, but the issue with that is like they can't really give out athletic scholarships. And like my grades weren't bad, but they weren't going to lower the $65,000 tuition a year to make it worth going there to play golf. So I didn't play golf in college at like an NCAA level, but then after I went to a school up in the like middle of Michigan called Saginaw Valley State. Uh, when I was there, I played ice hockey for them, and I transferred to Eastern Michigan where I played roller hockey for them, but I also joined the club golf team there. So that's where I got kind of back into the competitive golf. And then after I graduated in 2016, I kind of like I played golf again sporadically, but it was one of those things where I was like working and I was like still doing a little bit of school stuff. And then after I got done with that, I like kind of again would play sporadically. And then like right before COVID, I kind of dove headfirst back into golf again, where I'm like, okay, like I kind of want to like play this a lot. And I instead of going out like 5 times this summer, I started to go out like 10, 20, 30. And like I was playing more. And then last year or going into the 2023 season, I had a goal that I wanted to get my handicap down to about like a 5, because then that opened up the opportunity for me to be able to play in the Michigan Amateur Qualifier. And so I was able to get my handicap low enough. And then last season, I was able to play in the Michigan Amateur Qualifier. I missed qualifying by about 5 shots, which was a bummer because I just had 3 bad holes that kind of took me out of it. But it really got the competitive itch back. And then in the 2025 season, in the 2025 season, I set my goal that I wanted to get as close to like 0 as I could. So then I actually went down from, I think I started this year at like, I think I was a high 5 and I ended up at a 0. So, and
over
now
the course of the
just kind
season.
of, what was that?
Over the course of the season.
Yeah. So we
Brilliant.
had about from like our season opens, I think April 1st and then closes October 31st is the last official posting day. And I was able to get down to a 0. So I was happy about that.
That's brilliant. So what do you do work-wise there? Are you involved in the golf industry work-wise? I've seen on your
Oh,
Instagram you've got golf instructor, so
yeah. So like with that, I put that as that just because, with posting the golf content and stuff. And like, I mean, I've coached golf and I've been, I do a lot of volunteer work with like the first tee of, Detroit and stuff. So
yeah.
it's I'll do a lot of stuff like that. But I mean, I've worked in the golf industry because I used to work at Carl's Golf Land back in like 2018 to like 2020 and stuff. But my current role that I have is I work in the construction industry. So I'm a project manager for a controls company here in Michigan.
So you've managed to, that's the thing, like you managed to get down to scratch holding down a job that
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
involving you being on the golf course all the time, which is, I think a lot of amateurs, myself included, we don't dedicate enough time to it because we've got other
Right.
things going on. As I said to you,
Oh,
I work full
100%.
time. I've been away here, there, and everywhere today with my kids for the football and stuff like that. And then I'm
Yeah.
like, why is my handicap not getting any better? Well, just because I've done nothing to warrant it
Yeah.
getting
No,
any better.
100%.
That's no mean feat to have got it down to scratch for while you've been holding down a job and a family as well, as you were
Yeah.
kind of
Yep.
beforehand. You've your wife and your baby, is it? Just had the child,
Yep.
or
Yep. Yeah, she's about 2 and some change. So, but yeah,
oh,
and I mean, and like what's helped a lot is being able to like just not necessarily playing rounds, but like, if I get off of work, like generally I'm off around like 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And then that way, like on my way home, sometimes I'll stop at a local course, like bring a shag bag with me, hit about like maybe an hour's worth of like chip shots, roll some putts, and then, pick my daughter up from daycare and then head home and stuff. And then there are times what I like about my job too is it gives me the opportunity to like play in various golf outings throughout like the course of the summer too. So I'm able to go play with like clients and other people like in our industry and stuff. So like I'm playing. I mean, unfortunately, it's in like a scramble format, but I mean, those are still fun because like for me, like not like a long hitter, but what's nice about some of the outings is we get to play from a couple tee sets up. So then it gives me where I can drive a majority of the greens depending on how the course is routed. So that gets pretty entertaining at a certain point.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people could learn from like just getting rid of the ego sometimes, and just playing from a couple of tees up.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
just give yourself a chance, get yourself closer to the
Yeah.
green, work on the kind of chipping and putting side of things.
Right.
I had an interview a couple of weeks ago with a guy. He left his work and he's taken a year out to try and get down to scratch. So he's off a 10 at the moment. Um, and he's dedicated full time to that. So he's putting a simulator. He's got a very understanding wife. He's put a simulator in his garage, and he's working to get down to zero over
Yeah. No, but
the year.
it's crazy because if you put in the effort and like, like, because I have a buddy who literally picked up golf last April and he's already a single digit handicap. And
Mhm.
it's like he played college baseball and stuff, and I mean he's athletic for sure, but it's just he has, I call him like our Bryson Jr. because he's super smart mathematically, like he's an engineer for like Nissan, and
Mhm.
he has it down to a science where he's like, okay, I did the same length clubs, like I have it like my lofts are adjusted to this, and I mean it works for him because he can, like I said, he picked up the game in April, hasn't even been a year in yet, he's already single digit. It was pretty impressive. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, he's going to be chasing you this year then.
Yeah, no, that's what he says. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get down to a scratch," and he goes, I'm gonna get to that plus handicap." And then what's crazy is he has a simulator at his house, and he has like one of the Foresight ones. And he sent me
Mhm.
a picture the other day where he hasn't even had the launch monitor for a year yet, and he's already taken 20,000 swings on it. And I'm like, dude, I'm like, that's insane, man. I'm like, I don't even think
That
I've
is
taken that many swings in like my whole career.
Yeah, that is commitment. So you play quite a bit of sim golf then, don't you? I've seen on the YouTube channel, and you're also attached to
Yeah,
the elite golf club that you're playing in a bit of a kind of sim league. Is that what you've got
yeah,
from there?
so it's so in Michigan, I have a couple buddies that created like somewhat of like a golf society, and that's what the Elite Golf Club is. And they do various things across like our state of Michigan where they'll kind of run their own like little like season long point standings where you'll kind of make like a 4-man team and you'll play in a mix of stroke play events and also a couple like scramble events, and depending on how you place you get like your season points and stuff. But then another big thing that they do is there's like in like the United States, they have like youth on the course, and they do a Detroit Youth Classic where it's a fundraiser to kind of raise up some like scholarship funds and some funds in general for the Youth Classic and stuff. That way, some of the kids can get some money to play golf and all that kind of stuff. And then what's kind of cool too is they actually do like a golf league. And what's nice about it is it's not a week to week, okay, we're gonna go play the same course each week for 10 weeks. Like it's kind of a season long thing where you play various matches set up with you and whoever on whatever day works best for you guys, and then you could go to various courses too. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And then they also do a season long like match play thing where you'll get seeded and you'll play your 1v1 matches, handicapped, of course, and then you kind of move on through the season. And then that kind of ends around August or September.
Hmm. Oh, there's
But then,
loads of stuff you can do. But like you said, when you can't get out,
yeah,
and that's all you've got to do. It's good that people are trying to put these type of things
yeah.
together.
And then for the simulator stuff specifically, I figured when I kind of, because I originated where I was using TikTok to post like my content and stuff. And then I thought, a video app would warrant views on videos. So I'm like, I'll start here. And then the views weren't like the best, but they weren't terrible. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm already on Instagram with other stuff. I'm like, I might as well just make a golf Instagram. That way I could kind of showcase more photos. And when I started to post, I mean, they were getting like crazy views where like the first like 3 posts I did all had over like 5,000 views or something like that. So I'm like, all right, I should probably just kind of focus more on this. And then I'm like, you know what? I should create a YouTube now so I can grow like, the subscribers and kind of grow my base and kind of get my video uploaded throughout the off season. So that way, like when I get real content, when the snow melts and I get on a real course, it'll kind of be hitting people's feeds. So I figured the best way to do that is do somewhat of a simulator series where what I do is I'll play some of my buddies, other content creators around me in an 18-hole match where I'll handicap it based off of whatever their like USGA handicap is, or if they use other types of apps to determine their handicap, I'll use that. Usually I'll tip it out and I'll move them to whatever tee set they generally play and then adjust accordingly. And then we pretty much just have a match at that point.
Oh, brilliant. I'll need to try and find a simulator then, and we can get a wee across the water game
Oh
going.
yeah, no, we could definitely do that where whatever we wind up shooting, just kind of post the scorecards and just see kind of who shakes out, who gets the W on that. But yeah, no, that'd be a lot of fun.
Well, you're giving me at least 18 pops, so that works
Yep.
for me.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's what I like a lot about the whole handicap system. Is a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's stupid, it's dumb," and like I like the traditional handicap method. I don't the net handicap sometimes throws me for a loop sometimes because I like people getting their dots on the holes that they're supposed to get dots on instead of like, okay, I'm just gonna start at like 5 under par because that's
Uh-huh.
ideally what net golf is. But I like the actual dot method because you can blow up on the hardest hole and still like kind of be in a spot where okay, like that doesn't necessarily like doesn't hurt me that bad, but
Yeah.
it definitely doesn't make it easier. But then it was funny because the first ever video I did for the simulator series, I played one of my buddies who he's about a 30 handicap and like, he started golfing a couple of years ago, doesn't really get out that often. And I'm like, hey, like let's just go do this. It'll be like for a YouTube video, like it'll be funny. And so, we played St. Andrews. I tipped it out. I put him at, he played the white tees, so he had a decent distance advantage on me. And then I wound up going 3 up on him in the first 3 holes, and I'm like, all right, cool. Like, we might not even get to the back nine. Like, I'm just gonna smoke you. No, he decided that he wanted to play the best golf round of his life, and he wound up dooring me on like hole like 14. And I just laughed, and I'm like, you really gonna do this to me on the first video? And he was like, hey man, sorry, He's like, I had to show out, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
But that's why I like the handicap systems because it gives everyone like a fighting chance. So it makes it so like makes me have to try harder, and then also it gives like them like whoever you're playing a chance to like, okay, I can compete in this versus like, okay, like I'm just gonna get smoked by like 13 strokes and go on with my day.
Yeah, it's unfortunate sometimes. Like I said, I'm mid to high handicap, but sometimes
Yeah.
I can play quite well. So I'll be playing against someone, and I'm like, by the way, I'm getting 8 or 9 shots off you or more than
Yeah.
that, right? In what they are, and then you end up going out and you just hit every fairway and hit every green.
Yeah.
You start exactly what happened with your pal, right? You start smoking them, and then you're like, I'm embarrassed because I genuinely am an 18 handicap. Look, I mean, I'm going to have a blow up at some point, and then the blow up doesn't come, and then the next thing you know, this person's like, this boy's a what is
Oh,
it,
you're
a sandbagger?
sandbagging.
Yeah,
Yeah. Cause like,
like, it sounds like
that's the
I'm.
thing is
No, I
like,
genuinely am. I post all my scores. This is
yeah.
what I'm at. So it's good that it does. The handicap is a leveler, which is what it's supposed to be. It
Yeah.
allows anybody to
Exactly.
play against anybody. But there's some people that, yeah, just maybe can't quite get over the. Well, you're not really as high a handicap as high a handicap as you can. No, I've
Yeah.
just had a day. I'm having a bit of a purple patch at the moment.
Yeah, no, and like that's what's funny is like even with the simulator place that I play at a lot, they have like a members only league where it has a net and a gross division. And I was talking to the owner, he goes, "Oh yeah, I'll adjust like handicaps like after like a couple rounds and yada yada yada." So then I I saw someone shoot like and like with the simulator league, what they're doing is they're having everyone play from the white tee. So I think it's like 6,200 yards, so it's way shorter than I generally play. And then there's like the gimme radius for like the putting is 10 feet. So I'm like, all right, like that can be kind of good and bad. And like some dude I saw shot like 2 under, 4 under, and then like another like 4 under. And I was like talking to the owner, I'm like, dude, I'm like, what's the dude's handicap? He goes, he says he's a 15. And I'm like, if he's a 15 and he's shooting like that, I'm like, that means his putting in real life has to be atrocious.
Yeah,
But like, because that's the thing is like I've gotten lucky where I've hit like some bad feeling shots that went in that 10 feet radius, and I'm like, okay, like that'll work. And then the simulators, like obviously the putting's hit or miss, but I mean, it's still like it's still a lot of fun. Like even it
yeah,
gives me the challenge of okay, like I got to really dial in, but. It's crazy how, like you said, like you could be a higher handicap, but some days, like, the stars align and everything's going where it needs to go. And I'm making putts from everywhere. And that's just golf.
yeah. I wouldn't be giving me putts from 10 feet. Gimmies
Oh,
from
yeah.
10 feet seems very. I mean, I'd be taking them, but that's a bit much.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
definitely missed a few of
Yeah.
those.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
yeah. So I wanted to speak to you about the grass league, which, to be
Yeah.
honest, we don't really. Well, I'm saying we don't. I don't. I have heard of it. I've seen the odd thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
but it's not something that's really broadcast that much over here. We have, so you guys have obviously got the Golf Channel and things like that. We
Yeah.
just get Sky Sports, which is
Yeah.
like the PGA, the DP Tour, and we're getting a bit of Live Golf now. But we don't really get the kind of grass league stuff or what they have on the Golf Channel. So
Right.
I've had a look at it before. I see you are the hottest free agent in golf as regards to the
Yeah, I'm trying.
grass
I'm trying.
league- the grass league. So it was just to find out kind a bit about it, really, how it kind of works. Were you
Yeah.
sitting in the draft? What's involved? See drafts in sports as well. The UK, I don't know if you know, but it's not the same over here. So we don't do draft things like football, for
Right.
example. I know you're a soccer guy. If Liverpool want to go buy a player, they just go buy a player.
Yeah, no, that's
And they
what
pay an
that's what
extra amount.
kind of took me through a loop growing up is like, I grew up like where like, okay, free agency happens and like, they get the like entry level drafts for like rookies for like hockey and football and all the sports and stuff. And that's when I started to like really follow soccer when I was younger, like I would play like, FIFA and stuff. And I'd be like, what's the transfer portal? I'm like, what is this thing? And like, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even know what this is. And I'm like, am I drafting people? And then like, as I got older, I'm like, okay, they don't do drafts. They just like, here's a boatload of money, like come play for
Yeah.
us. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do it. But with the grass league, I mean, it was something that I saw like just this past season where like, again, like I was watching like Golf Channel and it like popped up and I was like, what is this? Like, I've never seen like par three golf like be televised before. I'm like, this is interesting. Then, I kind of Googled it, looked more into it, and then I saw that there was you could fill out like a player application. So I'm like, whatever, like it's free, it doesn't hurt anybody. So I filled one out and then like so with that, like in theory, what can happen is you can get signed to a team and like all the events are played out in Arizona because they have this course that is it's a par four course, but when you play it under the lights, they play the course a little bit shorter to obviously like, if it's pitch black out, they don't want you ripping drivers and stuff
Yeah.
because their thing is that they'll play in like the evening and stuff. So like it's like a night
Just
thing.
grass clippings, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yep.
seen the
And
Good
then
Good one. They had something there, didn't they? Good Good did some sort of an event
yeah.
there.
So then and like Good actually they're owners of the Dallas team that's in it. And so I had the free agency application, but their big thing is that so what they want you to do in theory is you can get signed to a team like off rip occasionally, but their big thing is that they actually want people to go out and play in the draft, which so I believe it's in April. It's like 2 days before their April event that's there. And ideally what would happen is you and someone else sign up, go out there, play in the event, and then if you place in I believe the top 25 of the teams, then you get like put into like the draft where then there's a snake draft for I think they have 12 teams and then they'll do a snake draft and kind of pick the players that shot lowest and then they kind of get signed to that franchise for that event.
All right, okay. So you're not there's necessarily there for the whole season though.
No, so I mean the thing with me is that I was hoping that I could possibly like somehow get signed prior to this and then not have to worry about like going out there and then like because the entry fee to play in it is a bit much. It's like I think it's like $750 a guy. So I'm
All
like,
right.
that's a tough sell. So I'm like, if I somehow could get like signed where they're like, hey, we'll just fly you out, you could play in the event, and then like whatever shakes out, shakes out. Because I'm in it as an amateur, so I don't even know what would have happened if because my thing would be is I'd like to be on the Michigan team just because there's a couple local Michigan guys that are on it, and I'm like that'd be kind of cool to like play with them for at least an event, see what happens. But yeah, from what I've seen is you can kind of you place in the top 25 for the qualify or the draft. Any team can pick you up, and it doesn't matter if you're from the state or not. And then based on how you play, I mean, it's kind of like anything else where like there's a free agency period after that where like people can drop you, trade you, that kind of thing. But I probably won't be going to the qualifier this year just because of the price tag on it. But I mean, if I can get lucky enough where someone reaches out and wants to bring me out there, then I'll definitely kind of give it a crack. Because what's nice about it too is it's over a weekend. So like, for people who are amateurs who, like you said, still have jobs and stuff, they don't have to take time off of work. Like it's not like a PGA event where, okay, I have to go there a week in advance, kind of play, do all that kind of junk. And then, I mean, it's kind of like, it's a hybrid between live golf and like the PGA because it's like you get to go there, kind of play for the short amount of time and then go home. And then their events are also very spaced out, where it's like I think there's one in April, one in like around August, September, and then the championship is in December.
All right, okay. Yeah, no, it looked it did look really good, and that was kind of the first thing that struck me was a bit of a like live style, kind of relaxed.
Yeah,
and the music's going under the lights.
Exactly. So like it looks super entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and
then
like
it's kind of funded a bit by the PGA Tour. I think they have got a bit of a link in with them, don't they?
Yeah, I think there's something like that. I didn't dive super deep into it, but I just figured I'd throw my name in the hat and just see if anything kind of crazy happened.
Yeah. No, that's it. Have you got quite a few par 3 courses out there then? Again, that's something that's kind of few and far between over this side of the water, is the kind of par 3 course side. The course after like even has 8 par 3s on it.
Okay.
As part of the normal kind of the normal rotation. And I've often wondered, I was like, I could just take my wee half set and just go out and just play the 8 par 3s and see what I can shoot on them.
Right.
Which I might still do as a wee bit of content this year, just to try and then try and break it again. Well, maybe once a month, just
exactly,
and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, because I know like around us, like I mean, what's nice too is there's a local course by us that is deemed like a par 3 course. It's like a par 30, I think it's a par 33, where it's a mix of like there are par 4s, but they're shorter, which is nice because like I can like drive the green with like irons and stuff on it. So like that's like towards the end of the season, I started to play there a lot just because I was looking at like prices for range balls versus like what it would be to go walk 9 holes. And I'm like, I can save like $2 by going to this 9-hole course instead of going to the range. And I'm like, I'm going to get more out of this because I'm hitting tee shots, I'm hitting approach shots, and I'm hitting wedge shots and rolling putts. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this and it'll benefit me a lot more. And like, I had some low rounds there where like I shot low enough where I went in, I was like, just curious, what's like the course record for this course? And like the guy's like, someone shot like 15 under, and I'm like, okay, I'm a bit off of that. And he was like, yeah, it was an old ex-pro that came here and played it and stuff. I'm like, all right, I'm at like 6 under right now, but I'm like, I'll set the goals because in theory, if I can hit the par 4s and make the eagle putts, like that'll be the easiest way to do it. But yeah, there's a lot of par 3, like kind of like actual like kind of like par 3 courses around here, and then also like a lot of the northern Michigan golf resorts now are making like their versions of like short courses, because like there's a course out on the west side called Arcadia Bluffs that has the Bluffs, the South course, and they just opened a course called the Dozen where it's 12 holes and like it's a little bit shorter than normal, but I mean it's a 12-hole course. And then there's a place up in like the Petoskey area too that just opened a par 3 course. It's actually on like the side of like their ski slope, so it's all lit up and stuff during like the spring and summertime. So that just opened this, I think it opened in July of this year. So a lot of people will be heading up that way to play that. But
yeah, no, that's good. So what's the goal for 2026 then? You obviously managed to get down to a 0 2025. What are you looking to do for 2026?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm just looking to be able to kind of keep like, I mean, at this point, I'd like to either maintain being at scratch, or if I can, you know, put some good rounds together, end up at like a plus handicap by the end of the season. But it's just trying to just play golf and kind of stay in the swing of things. And like, I mean, the main goal would be to qualify for the Michigan Am. And then because what's cool with that is that puts you into like, it will put you into like a little tournament thing where they do qualifiers across various courses in the state. And then usually they'll take about the top 10 people from each qualifying site. You'll go to another course and then start play. Like this will be like months later, you'll play in like the actual like amateur, which is like there's 2 18-hole stroke play events, and then if you're in the top 64, you get seeded in the match play, and then from there on you're pretty much playing till there's one guy left. So last year it was at a pretty cool course called Belvedere, which is like a super like Linksy style course that I actually was able to go play before I went on a boys trip with some of my buddies and stuff, and it was a super nice course. And then this year's amateur is held at a course called Hawks Hollow, which is up in the Lansing area. And like their big thing is that they actually have a green that's similar to the 17th at TPC Sawgrass. So it's one of those things where it'll be pretty interesting to get out there and play. And then I'd also like to try to play in a US or not a US Open qualifier, a US amateur qualifier as well, just because they kind of play them at some cool courses around here. So it'd be cool to just go play a cool course, and you know, if you accidentally qualify, cool. If not, you gotta go play a course that I don't get to play.
Yep. And what about a Scotland trip then? So I know you'd said your brother-in-law's from Ireland.
Yeah, he's from Galway.
Yeah, he's from Galway. Any chance of you getting over this side of the water at
I
some
mean,
point?
not it. It's definitely in the works for probably like a couple years down the road, just because he, like my sister and him just got married last August, and like out talking with his family and stuff, like they have some inns at some courses around the area, and I'm like, hey, I'm like, get me over there and I'll play some golf, but it's probably a couple years away and stuff, but it's definitely on my list to get out there for sure.
Yeah. Well, when you do make it over, make sure you give me a shout.
Oh yeah, no,
And
for sure.
you can hop on the plane and come over here, and we'll get some golf on the go. But I'm
Oh
definitely keen
yeah.
to try and I will try and track down some sort of a simulator, and we'll work out how we do this.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
think
we could definitely do something like that.
you just send a link or something. Is that how it works? Or I don't know how it would.
So what I've been doing with my buddies and stuff is like we'll just like, we'll just be at the same venue and just playing back and forth. But I mean, honestly, what we could do is if we pick the same course or whatnot, and then you could just like if you take the like each hole like a video of it and stuff, and then I can just piecemeal it together and then just have it be like my swing to your swing, my swing to your swing, and then just pretty much just piece together a whole video like that and then upload it and then see what happens.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. We'll look into that. I'll come back to you. I'm going to try and find myself a sim that I can get in for an hour, and we'll make that one happen.
Oh yeah, no,
But
that'd be a lot of fun.
yeah, perfect. So, Mike, thanks very much for jumping on. It was good to get a chat with you. Good
Oh yeah,
luck
no,
with
thanks for having me.
good luck with the grass league.
Oh
I'll keep
yeah.
an eye out for you.
Yeah, no,
So
that'd be sweet.
if I see you on the telly, I'll be like, hey, I know that guy. It's always
I
good
know
to know
that guy.
these type of things.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it was great. It was great talking with you. Thanks for having me and stuff. And then yeah, if you track down a simulator, just shoot me another message and we can kind of set up whatever the like distances are, and then we'll kind of go from there, and then we'll be able to piece together a little video here.
Yeah, perfect. I think that'd be quite good actually.
Oh
We'll
yeah, no, it'd
definitely
be a
make
lot
that
of fun.
happen, and that can be the first round of the weekend mini competition, and then when you make it over here with your brother-in-law, we'll do it properly. We'll get down the
Oh
links.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Good
no,
result.
100%.
Yeah, good result for Liverpool yesterday. Eh? They
Oh
needed
yeah,
that. They needed that.
yeah, yeah, no, because it was like I did not from them coming off winning the league and stuff to then kind of coming out flat-footed. Like I was just like, man, I'm like, come on, I'm like, we can't do that, especially with like the unfortunate stuff that happened to Jota and stuff. I'm like, man, I'm
Yeah,
like, you can't do this. And then, I mean, in all theory, I mean, if they want to like, they kind of bottled the league, but if they could wake up during the Champions League, I mean, they could still make a push in that. But
yeah.
it's
It was
kind of
just
hit or
unfortunate
miss.
that they'd obviously had all that money right over the course of the
Yeah.
year, and they decided
Hmm.
this last summer was the one where they were going to spend all this money, and they got the boy away from Newcastle for an
Yeah.
extraordinary amount of money and what have you, and then it's just not quite worked out for whatever
No.
reason. They've not
No.
they didn't kind of do their homework, and they've not gelled as quickly as I think they
Right.
thought they were going
Yeah,
to.
because
But
that's the thing too. Is like you could sign like top name stars, but sometimes if they don't have the chemistry with some of the players on your existing team, I mean, it's just going to be where one person just wants to try to do it all themselves, and then especially with Salah getting benched like numerous games back and forth, I'm like, what is going on here? But
yeah,
it's just how it
I
goes.
know.
I mean, I see that with a lot of sports over on this side of this water too and stuff. It's just like it's crazy. You pay all the money, and then like sometimes they just flop. But that's
Yeah,
just how it goes.
yep. That's sports, eh? That's why it's interesting.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Perfect. Right. Thanks again, Mike, for as I say, taking the time today, and we'll be in
Oh yeah,
touch.
no,
All
it was
right.
great. All right, man.
Cheers.
Sounds good. Thanks again. Yeah, cheers.
Yeah. Cheers.